What country puts 150% tax on any sale of a new car? And it's not Canada.
Wow. And speaking of cars, how many cows can you get in a Bentley?
This is Season 7 of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Hi, I'm Nick.
I'm Roy, and we scoured the internet this week to get you more totally useless information.
Plus, we'll answer your questions on our mailbag segment. And in the news, a nude man is in the news.
Totally useless information. It's everything you never needed to know.
You have me in the news, Nick?
No, but if you want, I can sell you some pictures.
This is Totally Useless Vehicle Information with Nick, Meet, and Roy.
Yeah, if you go to our website, nickandroy.com, you'll see Roy's vroom vroom because he's posing in his underwear.
Yeah, I know. That's like people actually sent me that picture. They said, "What the hell are you doing in your underwear?" I said, "Man-made underwear sent us underwear. It's really good."
Exactly. If you send us stuff, we'll wear it.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful. Yeah.
Nick looked really good in that tutu. So thanks to that dance company.
That's right. Exactly. And they charged me $3,300 for it. Hey, here's my teaser right off the bat. I'm going to call this Bovine Bentley. If you're a vegan or a vegetarian or even a lover of animals, don't buy a Bentley because it is so full of leather, it takes 14 cows to make it. Bentley not only uses leather from the cows that live in Northern Europe, there are no mosquitoes and less barbed wire to mark the skin. Likewise, only bulls are used because they don't get stretch marks from becoming pregnant.
Well, let me tell you something. I saw a thing on Bentley, and part of the reason they use so many cows is because they only use one cow per seat, whereas other companies mix the leather from all different cows, I guess. You know, they just have pieces of leather and they sew them together. Bentley won't do that. They only use the same leather from the same cow for each seat. Crazy.
Wow. Yeah. Ooh.
See, that's what happens when you get that rich, Nick.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? You end up buying a Bentley that slaughtered millions of cows, and then you end up flying on your private jet. The laws don't apply to you.
No, they don't.
If you are texting and driving,
yeah,
are you doing that, Nick?
No, I am not.
You better not, and you better listen to this. And pay attention to the road, folks that are listening right now in your car.
Yes.
Most crashes happen within 3 seconds from when you get distracted. So we all look down at our phones and think, oh, I only looked for a couple of seconds, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it only takes 3 seconds. A study was done. And usually when people look down to either read a text or text, within 3 seconds, boom, they're in a crash. And if you are texting while you're driving, you're 23 times more likely to crash. That's big.
Wow. Okay, so both hands on your wheel. Do not adjust the podcast, or if you're listening to us on the radio, don't touch anything. You have to listen to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy to the very end.
Do you think when you hit the horn on a Bentley, it goes moo?
It probably does, or a cowbell. Or maybe this is a cowbell.
It might say move.
Move out of my
over.
way. Move out of my way. Exactly. Farewell Ford Fiesta. Not that I spit all over the microphone, but Ford recently stopped making Ford Fiestas. More than 4.2 million Ford Fiesta models have been sold in Britain, making it officially the best-selling car in the UK in history. Having knocked the Ford Escort off its pedestal as former champion back in 2014, the Fiesta still outsells its closest competitor by more than 2-1. By comparison, but hold on.
Okay.
One last thing before.
Yes.
By comparison, the entire country of Lebanon, its population is 4.1 million.
Oh, wow.
And they sold 4.2 million Ford Fiestas in the UK. You were saying?
But not to be racist.
Yes.
They are now producing what they call the Celebration in the United States.
Really?
Get it?
Oh,
Fiesta.
right.
Fiesta.
You know what?
Spanish.
because I'm sorry, I didn't get that right away. Because you know what I drive? I drive a Ford Siesta.
Siesta, right? Because you're always asleep behind the wheel.
Exactly, and I'm not even texting.
As of 2022, the Tesla Corporation became the most valuable car company in the world.
Oh.
Now, get ready for this. They don't even produce a tenth of the cars that the smallest other company produces. Think about this.
Yeah.
And their build quality is just disgraceful. Sorry, Elon, but your car company sucks. But it is valued because of the stock market, and it is the most valuable car company in the world. What a scam!
My goodness. Imagine how many cows died they put in a Tesla. And then if it's an electric car, would you call that fried beef?
Nah, they probably do what Mercedes is doing now. They call it MBX or something, or MB Syntex leather. It's not real leather. Oh. And when you get in the car, it kind of smells like leather because they probably put some scent in it. You know?
Exactly. I used to wear.
They probably walk up to the cow and they say, "Hey, okay, let's put that in the car."
Yeah. So what happens is in junior high school I wore pleather because I guess my mom couldn't afford leather, so I wore this pleather jacket. It was, I guess, basically plastic, right? That's why they called it pleather. Yeah. I didn't get beat up in junior high. No.
It's so funny because some things don't change; they just change a little bit. Now Nick wears pleather pants.
Right. Before you know, so I went from a pleather coat to pleather pants. I'll be wearing pleather shoes next year.
Nick wears pleather rip-away pants when he goes on his strip jobs.
Oh, you did remember. You know why?
Yeah, I'm the guy who gave you that dollar bill.
I was going to say, that's how we became fast friends. He gave me my first $1. Hey.
Actually, I gave him 100. I was like, get another job, please. I'm almost blind.
Right. And I gave him back change. Franciscan friar Roger Bacon was born in 1214. Now, you thinking, did he invent bacon? Nope. He potentially predicted that it will all be flying around in cars around 800 years before the combustion engine was even a thing. So, in one of the monk's many works, he dreamed of a day when carriages would no longer be pulled by horses and we would be able to travel at tremendous speeds. He wrote in 1214, "Cars can be made so that without animals, they will move with unbelievable rapidity." Now, not only this, this Franciscan friar had a lot of time on his hands, basically. Mm-hmm. He also predicted the creation of aeroplanes, steam-powered engines, submarines, and even scuba equipment.
Yeah. You'd think he would have invented the fryer.
That's right. He invented eggs and bacon. That's right.
And bring home the bacon. This is no Fiesta, but it is a Ford. In 1909 to 1927, Ford built 15 million Model Ts. Initially, the Model T took 12 hours to build. By 1913, they trimmed and cut that time down to every 8 minutes. So they went from 12 hours to 8 minutes per car. In the last year of production, 1927, a Model T rolled off the line every 24 seconds.
Wow.
Less than a minute to build a Model T, technically, from start to finish.
What have you done in less than a minute?
Well, sex comes to mind.
That's right. And go figure, you wore leather. Or was it pleather?
I don't want to short myself. It was 68 seconds.
That's right. Third light is a charm. Psychologist John Voevodsky first introduced the third brake light, which is a requirement in all modern-day vehicles. He introduced it in 1974. Voevodsky is his name, because I mispronounced it the first time, studied the effects of driving on attention, talking about, distracted driving, testing a small, inexpensive gadget on 343 taxi cabs in San Francisco. This new light, which would eventually become the third brake light, made it easier for other drivers to recognize if the car in front of them was slowing down.
Yeah, he chose San Francisco, Nick, because a lot of people there get hit from behind.
That's right, they do. It was discovered that the third brake light caused 60% less rear-end collisions, to your point. After discovering the increased safety that the third brake light provided, it quickly became a requirement on all automobiles. This safety system is much more important than current safety technology, allowing us to stay safe on the road and all kinds of other gadgets that they have. But the third light is the most important one, invented in 1974.
Yeah, and don't let anybody say that totally useless information, we don't take car crashes seriously, because we do.
That's right.
Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
This is my teaser. Denmark puts 150% tax on any new car purchased.
What?
Yes, 150% tax. So if it's a $20,000 car, they're going to charge you 50 grand, right?
150% tax.
Yeah, I think my math is correct. 150% of 20,000 would be 50, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Well, wait. No, it would be 50,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30%.
Yeah,
30,000 in tax, more in tax than the car is worth. So now they're going to try to do a reform and only charge 100%. They're going to be very, very nice to the people of Denmark, and they're going to only double the price of the car. Wow.
Yes, good for them. Wow. So,
wow.
Yeah, and if you're buying a Bentley, that's 1.5 more cows.
By the way, there's free health care in Denmark. You just can't get to the hospital because nobody has a car.
That's right. Yeah. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Thank you for joining us week after week. We really appreciate it. This is the show before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a friggin' mouse or a cow.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So we have something really special coming your way next week, as it is Christmas time. And then the week after that, we have everyone's favorite, which is our bloopers and best of 2022. And some people think it's one and the same.
Those are some of our most listened to shows.
Yeah.
And folks, listen, I want to also bring up, get in on www.nickandroy.com and get your birthday messages in. We're going to be doing anniversary messages now.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you right now, nickandroy.com, click on birthday messages, and you are going to be amazed. It is a great, great gift. In fact, we get emails every single week now. We're doing 5 and 6 and 7 a week of these now. And everybody is they're flipping out over them. But get them in so that we can do them for you. It is a private show for that special person for either their birthday or now we're doing anniversaries. So nickandroy.com, and just click on birthday messages.
Before we go to our next topic, which is music, on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy, one of our birthday message clients, and one of our listeners, quite frankly, she and her friends flew down to Florida, and they went to go see Roy. What was that like?
Oh, my God. They come up to me, and they're like, we have a request. Do you know a song? It's called O'Donna. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have that song, you know? And then she goes, how about the song, Love My Babesy Wabesy? And I'm like, and she goes, did you ever hear that? Did you ever hear Babesy Wabesy? And it was so funny because that's her nickname for her husband. And that was in the birthday message. But Donna and Dennis, Suzette and Babesy Wabesy, you guys are the best. We had so much fun. And of course, I try to embarrass them all through the night as my Canadian friends. So, but you guys are my Canadian friends, and I thank you so much. That's fantastic. I'm glad you came down. I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, that was awesome. And we really, it's the first time actually we met actual listeners from our show. So thank you very much. As you're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
From Beethoven to Bieber, rock and roll to rhythm and blues. This is Totally Useless Music Information with Nick and Roy.
The Russian word for no is "niet." Russian cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin apparently famously sang Shostakovich song called my homeland hears from space. So technically, it was the first song sung in space. Here's the problem. Nobody recorded it.
Oh, my God.
So, and I think you had the information on one of the shows that the very first song, I believe, was Jingle Bells that was played in space. But Yuri, the Russian cosmonaut, sang My Homeland Years. This really makes the very first song in space, but nobody heard it.
Right. So we don't know if they're lying or not.
Yeah.
And far be it from having Russian disinformation.
Allegedly. Yeah. So,
allegedly.
Allegedly. So yeah. So
boy, I'll tell you, you can't trump that one.
No, you can't. It's like that expression. If a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody there who'll hear it or something like that. So if a cosmonaut sings in space and you don't record it, did it really happen?
Yeah, and it's funny because "niet" means no. And Nick knows the word no in like 30 different languages from most of the girlfriends he had in high school. Okay, ready for this crazy fact, okay? The piano played in the recording of the song Bohemian Rhapsody. I think everyone in every country in the world knows Scaramouche, Scaramouche, do the fandango.
Yes.
Okay. That song, the piano that was used by Freddie Mercury in that recording session is the same piano that Paul McCartney wrote and recorded Hey Jude on.
Really?
Yes. How cool is that?
That's a real Scaramouche.
Niet.
Yes. Scaramouche this. The world's longest running performance will end in the 27th century. Okay?
What?
Okay. I'll repeat it. The world's longest running performance will end, because usually when you hear the longest running show on Broadway was, the longest running song
it's
was.
Still going on.
It's still going on. A 639-year performance based on eccentric composer, you think, John Cage's, and it's called As Slow as Possible. It started in September 2001 and is still playing at St. Bouchard's Church in Germany.
Deutschland!
The performance by an automated, and we've all experienced this in high school, the performance by an automated organ plays so slowly that visitors...
Nick uses an automated organ sometimes.
That's right.
Since that
medication.
Since that problem occurred.
That's right. So the performance by an automated organ plays so slowly that visitors have to wait 2 months in order for a chord to change. And it's scheduled to end in 2640, and Roy and I will be there. The performance is so slow that the organ it's played on was not even completed before the concert began. Additional pipes were added before the notes and chords changed. A generation of musicians will keep the organ going. And in case you're wondering what it sounds like, here's a small sample of John Cage's As Slow as Possible. That's it. That's one note. And it'll change the chord.
Doesn't sound like he's playing with his organ.
It is. Okay. And so it takes 2 months for a chord to change. It's the longest running performance As Slow as Possible.
Yeah, but he's got something going there, I mean, he's got all his people there like waiting and waiting. Oh my God. If you're listening to that, folks, you really need to contact someone and speak to them because you need to get a life. People who have brain injuries, Nick.
What, did you miss a punctuation in there? Comma, Nick.
Now, I joke around with Nick all the time, but Nick does not have a brain injury. In fact, Nick does not have a brain.
Right. Yes, listen, I went to the doctor, I had to check, they didn't find nothing.
Yes. So, people with brain injuries are given what's called music evoked autographical memory, which is broken down to memes. Not memes like when you're texting. MEAMS. Memes. It's music evoked autographic memory. These people that have brain injuries, they play songs to them because the songs activate memory functions in the brain, which opens up new channels to try and figure out what the memory is. So they're finding that music is one of the best tools to opening up memories in the brain, which then sparks the brain to keep going. Amazing.
I'll share this with the audience. So my mom, rest in peace, suffered from Alzheimer's. And in the early stages, the doctors had suggested to play, she was born in Italy, so they suggested to play Italian music, especially the songs that she would have heard when she was younger. And when we played those songs, she became more verbal as best as she could, and she was more alert. So it was quite something. So I can tell you firsthand that music definitely impacted my mom at that stage of Alzheimer's.
Yeah, my mom had Alzheimer's too. And terrible, terrible disease, you know. Although I couldn't tell for a while because she never paid attention to me when I was a little kid anyway.
So what
she
was
made
different?
believe at times she didn't know me, like when we were in crowds, you know.
Yeah. But going back to the music thing for a second, how many times do we hear a song on the radio and like, oh, that was our high school song, or that was our, the song that was playing on the radio when we first met, or something like this. So music definitely has an impact on our brains.
Yeah, that Donna Summer song, "Love to Love You, Baby," that one gets me all the time.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you know what it gets you? It gets you into trouble is what it gets you.
Such a great song.
It is.
So the words are perfect.
Love you, baby.
Get ready for this one. This is like one of the showstoppers.
All right.
Michael Jackson wanted to play, called up Stan Lee.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll explain who Stan Lee is. But Michael Jackson wanted to play the role of Spider-Man in the original first movie. So he calls up Stan Lee and he says, "Hello, Stan. It's me, Michael." No, so he said, "I want to play Spider-Man." And Stan Lee said, "Well, to be very honest with you, no, we don't think you fit the role. And thank you anyway." Well, Michael Jackson was so mad, he tried to buy Marvel Comics to get himself the role. And they actually entertained the thought of him buying it, but it never goes through. And of course, Stan Lee doesn't choose him. Well, pretty wild, right?
No, it is wild, but Stan Lee wasn't Canadian, but Stanley Canuck was. So I think you're mixing up the two.
Yeah. Bruce Lee was probably Canadian. He looks Canadian. He has that Canadian look to him.
Yeah, he
Bruce
does.
Lee.
Yeah, he does. Dogfish skin was often used in the 18th century to sand violins. Dogfish are a family of sharks, and dogfish sharks made up the second largest order of sharks at 119 species. They have 2 dorsal fins. Their skin is generally rough to the touch, hence being used to sand the wood of violins.
I knew there was something fishy about my Stradivarius.
That's right, yes. Is that 2 dorsal fins, or you're really, really excited to see me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Monaco is the only country that has, I love this one too, folks. This is another good one. Monaco is the only country that has a military orchestra. They're not the only country that has, a lot of countries have military orchestras, but they have a military orchestra that's actually larger than their actual military. It's larger than the army itself. So guess what? Like if there's going to be an invasion, they'll be like, "Wait, stay where you are. We're going to play you a tune."
Well, all they had to do if they really get into trouble, they just, instead of musical instruments, just put weapons in their arms, and now they've doubled the size of their army.
No, like if like they're gonna be invaded, if Monaco's gonna get invaded, they play dum dum da dum dum da dum da dum da dum.
Well, if they have plants, and what country was this?
Monaco. Where Princess Grace Kelly was the queen of Monaco.
She was, absolutely, and she was a doll. Speaking of,
my mom looked like her. When my mom was young, Grace Kelly and her looked very, very much the same.
Are you saying you're royalty?
I'm just saying my mom was a beautiful woman.
Yes, she was. Even when I met her in her later years, because Roy and I know each other. It's 42 years now that we know each other.
That's frightening.
It is. Yeah.
That is scary.
Yeah, that we can count to 42. Absolutely.
Exactly. That we even made it here.
That's right. Music can make your plants grow faster. So I know this is the music section, but this could very well kind of cross over into another one of our topics, which is Down the Garden Path on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. If you're a plant person, you should probably play some good music while watering them because it can help with their growth. Researchers at the National Institute of Agricultural Biotechnology in South Korea, they found that,
That's a big name. Yeah, that's important.
It's the researchers at the National Institute of Agricultural Biotechnology in South Korea found that music can make plants grow faster as well as healthier.
Yeah, well, crazy stuff comes from those places, like COVID.
No, it didn't. It didn't come from South Korea. Your local convenience store came from South Korea. I remember when they had the World Cup in South Korea, and every time they had a corner kick, in the corner, I said, up went a convenience store. So if you notice, in that fact, I said that you have to play some good music. Well, what constitutes good music? So if your plants died, it means that you played them bad music, I guess.
And what happens if you have a plant that likes rock, or you have a plant that likes classical?
You don't know.
Like I could see a tomato plant liking rock and roll music. I could see maybe like corn liking jazz.
Welcome to the Corn Maze Jazz Festival. Yeah, well, shucks. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. We invite you to join us on our website. Listen, we could have been talking about oysters. Shucks. Well, you go to our website, nickandroy.com. You can check out our full library of episodes. You can check out our birthday and anniversary messages. As we mentioned, you can also leave us a message by clicking Contact Us, and we'll get into our mailbag a little later in the show. But you can also leave us a voicemail message, all at our website, nickandroy.com. And now, it's time for Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy as they present Dreams. Wake up. Wake up. Dreams.
What was that?
That was another one of those intros we did in one take.
Yeah, you could tell.
What's the expression?
Nick and I failed acting. You could tell that too.
That's right. It's the absolutely not ready for any primetime players at all.
No. Some people annoy the hell out of me.
Some?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Some people say that they don't dream. I'm sure that in the course of your life, somebody has said to you, Nick, that they don't dream.
Right.
Well, poppycock. Everyone dreams. And most of the time, we dream for a limited amount of time every night. It's just that some people have a crappy recall of their dreams. In fact, some people suffer from no dream recall at all.
There's a thing.
Exactly. And some people, like Joe Biden, live in their dreams.
What? No.
Did I offend everybody on this show?
No. So what you just said is President Biden is living his dreams?
Yeah, he's right, exactly.
It's like
he's like at an ice cream shop every minute. Yeah.
One of my colleagues said to them, "Hey, how's it going?" And they'd say, "Well, I'm living the dream." And I tell them, well, "Wait till the alarm goes off." You can have those people who do dream or recall them. You can have 4 to 7 dreams in one night. On average, you can dream anywhere from 1 or 2 hours every night, like a mini series, I guess. We often have multiple dreams within dreams that we cannot remember. With only the last dream before taking our waking consciousness, do we realize that you were dreaming. It's like you're binge dreaming, I guess.
Yes. Now, because Nick and I never discuss our topics, sometimes we have topics that either are the same ones or overlap. Like we'll just say dreams, you come up with 4 and I come up with 4.
Right.
And so sometimes we get the same fact, which happens, frequently because, great minds think alike. But the average person, yes, Nick, you're right, dreams roughly 2 hours a night.
Right.
So I said, I want to do some math.
Uh-oh.
Because I learned how to add up until high school. And that's about it for math.
Right.
No. So 2 hours a night. So how much in a lifetime? Roughly, using today's standards of a lifetime, you will dream for 6 years of your life. Yes. And in 1 year, you'll dream roughly 1,460 hours in 1 year. So 1,460 hours or 6 years in a total lifetime.
Talk about dreaming on. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of nice because I think about Heidi. I'll be thinking about Heidi Klum for what, 6 years?
Yeah, 6.5. 6.5 if you count the formative years.
Deutschland.
She's German, isn't she?
Oh, she's German. Hey, German women, they're either beautiful or just butt ugly.
It's one or the other. Hey, if you ever are of German...
That was a 50% insult.
That's right. Yeah, and they didn't figure out which half got it right. So there isn't such a thing as precognitive dreams. Results of several surveys across large population sets indicate that between 18 and 38% of people have experienced at least one precognitive dream, and 70% have experienced déjà vu. The percentage of persons who believe precognitive dreaming is possible is even higher, ranging from 63 to 98%. Now, didn't I not tell you this in another episode? Oh,
I don't know.
Right, 70% of us experience déjà vu. Yes, exactly. 100%.
Did I ever tell you that sometimes the cognitive dreams and they'll experience déjà vu?
No, I didn't know that. Where did you hear that from?
Did I tell you that sometimes they'll experience déjà vu?
The same way the attention span of a goldfish is 3 seconds.
Sometimes I dream of Heidi Klum and I'm driving behind her in San Francisco and boom, rear end collision.
Yeah, and then your third light goes off.
And I'm driving a Volkswagen.
Figure that one out.
Woo, talk about bumper cars.
Yes.
All right. This is just plain interesting, okay?
Yeah.
DMT, dimethyltryptophan, is naturally produced while your brain dreams. It's very similar to melatonin.
Right.
It's actually produced in the pineal gland, not to be mistaken with the penis.
Right.
That, although during dreams, sometimes that is affected when I dream of Heidi. So we produce DMT while we dream in the pineal gland. It also happens 2 other times in our lifetime other than dreaming. Right before a baby is born, it releases DMT from its pineal gland. And right before we die, the pineal gland releases DMT. DMT has a relaxing type of effect on nerves and so on. So I guess the brain knows that traumatic birth is traumatic, so it releases DMT and soothes you. When you're dreaming, DMT is released to give you, I guess, a relaxing feeling to keep sleeping and keep dreaming. And right before you die, DMT is released. Why not go off nice and calm, right?
That's really something. So the thing is, do you remember any of your dreams?
Yeah, I do. Most of them are nightmares.
Now, maybe because you're under stress or something, dreams can be a sign of underlying stress or anxiety. One of the most interesting findings about dreams is that many people experience them similarly. Have you ever been on the brink of sleep and had a dream of falling? Well, you're not alone. Many folks report dreams of falling, being naked in public, or losing their teeth, Well, that'll cause anxiety.
I don't dream being naked in public. Sometimes I just walk around naked in public.
That's right.
Yeah.
And people around you who experience that wish they were dreaming.
Yeah. And most of the guys that look at me feel bad about themselves, but I'm sorry.
Yes. Well,
I'm just gifted.
Yes. The gift that keeps on giving and stop. According to WebMD, although specific meanings of these dreams were very based on individual circumstances, all of these dreams can be linked to stress or anxiety.
Now, again, me and Nick, great minds think alike. And Nick just said that a lot of people experience the same things, like falling or being naked in public in dreams.
Right.
But this one is going to freak you out. I got some really good ones this week.
You do.
In 2006, a patient drew a face for their physician of a person in their dream, or they had the face drawn by a professional or sketch artist. That face, the psychiatrist then sent to a bunch of other colleagues who both study people's dreams and so on, only to find that the man's face appeared in other patients' dreams. They had never seen the face before, but when they saw it, they said, that guy is in my dreams. Up until today, over 2,000 people claim that they have seen this man's face in their dreams.
No.
Yes. And if you want, folks, and I know you do, you can go to thisman.org.
Really?
Thisman.org. Look it up and see the man's face and see if that face was ever in your dream.
Wow. Okay.
And then you can go to nickandroy.com and you could see my face, ladies, and you'll be dreaming about it all night long.
Whether you're under stress or anxiety, it all depends on your perspective.
You can fight Heidi Klum for me in your dream.
Exactly. So, those of you who don't know, but Roy became a grandparent recently. So congratulations. Yeah.
She's beautiful. I love her. She's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Which brings me to this next dream fact. Well, people have asked, do babies dream? Believe it or not, babies begin dreaming even before they're born. So before your granddaughter was born, she was dreaming. She was dreaming of meeting a great set of grandparents. During REM sleep, their eyes move back and forth just like an adult's eyes do. Some scientists believe that fetuses dream while they're sleeping. Just like babies after birth, they probably dream what they know, the sensations they feel in the womb. Isn't that something?
It's funny. I get like emotional when I'm holding her. It's really wild. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Like we created my son and now he's created. It's just nuts. It really is. Yeah. It's so amazing. Really? And if I mean, I don't want to get into the whole dogma thing, but if you don't believe in God after seeing that, there's something wrong with you.
There you go. Hey, but you're listening to us. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. There's something wrong with you. Or maybe there's something right with you.
There's something wrong with me anyway.
That's right. Know. Yeah, exactly. So you've come to the right place. We do really appreciate, truly, sincerely, we've spent another full year of Totally Useless Information. And even though we've come to the end of another year, we're not done yet, because wait till the new year. We have lots of great stuff coming your way. Like we said, we now have anniversary messages available to you, as well as our birthday messages. We have all kinds of guests coming up, special guests, all on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. And if you go to our website, as we've mentioned many times, we make it simple because we can figure it out. It's nickandroy.com, and you click on Contact Us.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
Randy from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hey, fellers. Okay, I'm reading it the way he wrote it. You two make a dynamic duo. If I had a female lederhosen, your show would blow my dress up. Thanks again for the wonderful...
Speaking of something wrong in the head.
Okay. Yes. Thanks again for the wonderful show. I have always loved useless information. Now with the two of you, I'm beginning to feel more useless. Wait a minute. What does that mean?
Mhm.
So then when I asked, I wrote back and I said, thank you, Randy, for your email. How did you find us? And he wrote back and he said, I found you on Google Podcasts, simply searching useless information. I listen to your show while I'm working. Lots of laughs and more useless info I share with those around me. So thank you, Randy. Here's his question. Well, he said you probably knew this. The maximum number of teeth in an adult male horse is 44. Now, you've owned horses or you've been around horses. Have you ever counted their teeth?
No, I fed them carrots, but never. No, I never counted the teeth. But I actually, the vet would come and he would check the horse and he would check the horse's teeth, and we never thought about how many teeth they had. That's pretty cool.
So Randy says that an adult male horse has 44. Yes, Randy, the horses generally have between 36 and 44. He wants to know how many teeth do zebras have? Which is an interesting question. Depending on the species of zebra, the amount of teeth ranges from 36 to 40. So 40 seems to be the maximum. So thank you, Randy, from Tulsa,
So wait,
Oklahoma.
so horses have 44 and zebras have up to, let's say, 40.
That's right.
And where is Randy from?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right, where most of the girls only have 2 teeth. I'm sorry.
Come on, we have
Randy.
one.
I had to listen. I had to do it, Nick.
No, you see, no, Randy and everyone from Oklahoma, thank you for listening. Really, we really sincerely mean that. What he meant was the state of Alabama. Come on now.
That's true. What I say, Oklahoma?
Oklahoma, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I meant Alabama because
Yeah.
in Oklahoma the wind is riding down the plain. I tell you the
It's-
truth. It's Harry from North Carolina.
Hello, Harry.
He says, we love your show. We listen to it in the shop. Everyone loves your show. Great. Cool.
Thank you.
We're in the furniture business. In fact, our family has been in the furniture business for over 4 generations. He does not tell me what the name of the company is. I wish he did. Maybe it's a pretty large company.
Okay.
He's been 4 generations in the furniture business. And he says he's going to stump. He says, we will stump you. What is the oldest? He must make bookcases. What is the oldest bookcase? He said, and where is it? Okay. Now, this one, Harry, I knew because my son actually saw the oldest bookcase.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. And it is in Bodine Library at Oxford University in England. My son went there for a semester and he saw all the Charles Darwin stuff and all the stuff like that. And then there was this oldest bookcase in this Bodine Library. It's the oldest bookcase in the world because think about it, before books, there were no bookcases.
Well, exactly. And he had some case.
So there you go, Harry. Yes, cool. No, you couldn't stump us. I'm sorry, Harry. But but that one actually was a personal thing. That's cool.
It is. Well, these are really personal. We really do appreciate all of your emails. Once again, you go to nickandroy.com and click on Contact Us. And the website again is
nickandroy.com.
And now for something completely useless.
So the MGM lion, we've all seen and heard the lion, right? And here's a sample of it. Now, the film studio used a roaring lion to introduce films since it was founded in 1924. The lion was chosen as the company's mascot in 1916 by publicist Howard Dietz as a tribute to his alma mater, Columbia University, whose mascot was a lion. Leo the lion was his name. Leo was replaced recently by a computer-generated lion because of increases in video resolution. So they changed it and replaced it with a computer-generated Leo the lion.
I wonder, folks, do you think Nick is lying? Lying.
That's right.
Lying.
I am computer-generated. On the show today, we talked about cars, we talked about music, we talked about dreams. It's time for the news.
And now, from around the corner and around the world, this is TUI News.
Neighbors in Stuart, Florida, upset. They're really upset about a man doing his yard work in the nude. Despite telling neighbors, the man is not breaking any laws. People
He wasn't?
No. People live in this neighborhood say their neighbor does yard work around the house naked, and they say that they call the sheriff's office, but the deputies say there's nothing they can do. One resident came out Sunday night to put the trash out, and I look over, and as the person said, and he is bent over, winding up his hose, and I'm like, that's my view of my neighborhood.
Yeah. The guy was winding up his hose, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Concerned neighbors wanted to crack down on this naked truth. The man who lives at the end of their street is a nudist.
He's a nudist.
That's
see?
right. So you see
He
what I
falls under the spare the rod law.
I am going to repeat the last lines there because this was cleverly written. Oh, I wrote this. Concerned neighbors want to crack down on his naked truth. The man who lives at the end of the street is a nudist.
Crack.
Okay. He works on his
crack.
he works on his car. He does it naked, and everyone has called the police.
Wait, he doesn't just do yard work. He works on his car.
He works on his car too. He works on his car.
Does he do anything like with the muffler pipe?
No, I don't know if he's changing his catalytic converter or not. I'm not quite sure.
That's not all he's changing. I'm going to tell you, this guy. Now, where is this in Florida?
Stuart, Florida. Where is Stuart, Florida?
No,
Anyone near
come
you?
on. There's got to be laws that you cannot do yard work naked. Although, you know, I tell you, I've seen some people do yard work down here in like bikinis.
Yeah, but that's acceptable because you're in a beach town, right?
You're damn right it's acceptable.
Is it according to the law? No, it's according to Roy. So, he works on
I've
his...
investigated every single case.
That's right. And he tested the strings. And imagine some of them with G strings.
For hours.
That's right. Roy's a musician, G-string. Okay. This guy works on his car naked, and everyone has called the police, but he's just out there doing his yard work and whatever car work that he needs.
Sure. Yeah, you need a tune-up, you got to do a tune-up.
And the neighbors just can't bear it. Have some...
Bear it. You think the guy would get a pair of overalls or something?
No, underalls. Have some respect for the neighbors' kids. Kids catch the bus here. It's wrong, says one of the neighbors.
Oh, yeah. You can't have that with the kids getting on the bus and this guy's, checking his dipstick.
But when the sheriff's office has been called, the deputies tell them as long as he isn't touching himself inappropriately, there's nothing they can do since he is
and they've seen it. He's
property.
touching basically the plants in the car. He's not really.
Yeah, he's not doing anything inappropriate. And because he's on his own private property, he can do whatever the heck he wants.
He's not playing with his privates on his private property.
That's right. Exactly. In a public place.
He's quite the mechanic, I heard.
Boy, he can oil, lube, and filter on in a half hour. I have seen these people actually stand on their front step, buck naked, both of them. Wait a minute. There's more than one.
Two.
And talk to the police officers, sheriff's department, and they told me...
Is this a man and a woman or two men?
We found one person who doesn't have an issue with the neighbor stripped down to, nothing. I don't know. So there are two people then, apparently. And you know what the sheriff... But
this is becoming an epidemic now.
Well, and there's no vaccine for it. So according to the sheriff, they said this is their solution. Just turn your head.
Yeah, but you know what? I tell you, I'm for these people. Because out of respect for the police during COVID, they wore a mask. This guy that you're talking about is quite the daredevil. Now, you think about this. You lean over into an engine, Nick. There's a lot of moving parts. You might not want to lean too far in, if you know what I mean. It might get you,
Yeah, I do know what you mean, but it doesn't indicate if the guy was Jewish or not. Now, hold on. There's one person in the neighborhood who does not have an issue with their neighbors being stripped down. I'm not one of those people who have concerns just because it's their way of life and it's on their property, and I know it is legal. They spoke with the man in question off camera, and he said he was not interested in doing an interview because he and his family are private people. If they are private, why are your privates on display? This is what you asked before, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would be offended.
That is not private at all. This is very public, one neighbor said. They can't bear it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this is Florida, so anything goes down here. We're pretty much now the state where anything goes. Think about it. Most of the people are moving from Chicago, New York, and California are coming here. So basically, all the lunatics in the United States are moving to Florida.
That's right.
Okay, so it's not going to, you know, that person's from California.
Probably.
They're like, you know, free love and all this stuff. They're running around naked.
Wait a minute. I just realized you're right. They are from California. You know why? Because he was
Right.
showing his California raisins.
You know, Nick, come to Florida. We're very big into nature down here.
I bet you are. Hey, that's all the time we have for this episode of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. We thank you very much for joining us. And as we said, this is the last show before Christmas, and we have a special show coming next week, and our annual bloopers and best of show the week after that. And in 2023, we have lots of great stuff. So we're going to gather more totally useless information. We'll scour the internet and every source we can come across to find useless information just for you.
And we want to thank all of our listeners that make this show so popular. Thank you so much. All around the world, all over Canada, in the United States. It's really fantastic. We thank you so much. Please keep up the good work of telling friends to listen to the show. And you guys at the Furniture Factory, keep going. Tell a friend about the trend.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy.
Thanks for listening.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is a production of nickandroy.com. Visit nickandroy.com to access the full library of episodes or wherever you get your podcasts.